Stone cold Ken Kaplan on the CR250 86. Second kick, baby. Second kick, not bad. Gotta put the hand on the pipe, you know? Let the people know.
Beautiful classic two-stroke HPP valve, Honda 252 stroke CR, 1986 frame off resto. Absolutely a labor of love. Hope it goes to a good home that's going to enjoy it. Buy this bike and have a great summer. It's a lot of fun to ride. Super easy to work on. It needs nothing. It's ready to go. What's happening, guys? Ken Kaplan here with another classic Evolution 1986 Honda CR250. This one is, you know, I was thinking about this before we started doing the video. If you had one model vintage bike you could have, and you live up in the Great White North like we do here, where it's only riding season 4 to 6 months out of the year, and you had one bike you wanted to put in your living room or your office and look at every day, I can't think of a better bike than the 86 CR250, whether it's the 250 model or the 500 that we have over here. Very rarely will you see, unless you're going to a vintage national or something, will you see two pristine 86s side by side. This 250 over here, little brother to the 500, is an absolute ripper. And this was actually restored frame off over 100 hours. They stopped counting at 100 hours labor by my good friend John Greer. He was going through a tough time in his life. his son had just passed away, and he wanted a hobby to focus on, so he bought this good core bike, this 86 250, great foundation to start with, and took it right down to the frame, every nut and bolt on the bike. We've got several of John's bikes that have been in the museum. Right now we have a CR500 of his in the museum. That's a frame off. He's building one right now. It's a hobby that he does. John is a professional pilot. He actually flies people like Kardashian and the Kardashians and John Black and Jack Black and celebrities around in a Learjet. That's what he does. So he's got a great job where he doesn't have to work that many hours a week. He works like 3 days a week, so he's got a lot of time off, and he spends his time building kick-ass vintage bikes, and he loves the Hondas. That's all he does is Hondas. Now this 86, he went the extra mile on this one. Took it, the engine, I'll start with the motor, took it right down to the engine cases, split the cases, and actually sent the cylinder out to LA sleeve and had him re-sleeve the cylinder, the original stock bore, which is no easy thing to do. It was expensive. I think he paid around $400 for that. He had a new Wasner piston put in it. He had the original crankshaft rebuilt, and with new bearings and new crank seals. The power valve was rebuilt with new power valve springs. The 86 year is notorious. If you think you're going to buy one of these for $1,500 or $2,000 off Craigslist, take a look right here at the water pump. They're notorious for having rotting issues. Pretty much most of them do. So John addressed that by buying a brand new NOS housing, water pump housing. It cost him $400 for that entire housing, so everything in there is brand new. So got the bike running, put the FMF Gold Series fatty pipe on there with a stock original silencer, and felt that it wasn't quite fast enough. Was having some jetting issues, so he upgraded the carburetor. So little known trick that we know about. Now you know about it too. If you take the 86 CR500 Kahin carburetor, the 38mm carb, and put it on a 250, they flat out haul the mail once you jet it right. So that little trick was done on this 86 CR250. It was also done on this Yamaha YZ250 over here. It has the same 38mm carb, and both these bikes bark. A little bit bigger carb, a little bit bigger jets. He also put, if you take a close look, it's got the Boyson reed valve on there. All new engine gaskets, as you can see. Has the silicone hoses. He rebuilt the entire cooling system, the entire new clutch cover and water pump and impeller hoses. And he also, check out these radiators. Take a close look at these radiators. These are aluminum radiators, brand new, with the covers to protect them. These are polished a little bit, and also all the radiator hosers are brand new. So he really cut no corners. Completely rebuilt the motor, brand new clutch. Everything's new on it. Air filter, carburetor, intake, piston rings, crank was rebuilt, clutch, everything's brand new. So typically a job like that's going to run you somewhere between $2,500 and $3,000 depending on what you do. He didn't cut any corners, and he sent it to the best in the business to get it done. Then he took the frame, sent that out, had it powder coated, and most of the other running gear, like the suspension, it has the original rims on it. Those are in good condition. Has a CR Technocell seat cover. I believe he replaced the seat foam. It feels nice and cushy. Then he went with an oversized seat foam. We just installed. Now he had the bike. He had done the bike several years back, and when we got it, it needed a little touching up. He put maybe 5 or 10 hours on it. So went to the detail shop. We power washed it. The frame and the subframe were touched up. It's difficult to touch up powder coating with paint, but we did it, and you can tell where it was done if you look closely. It's not perfect, but at least it's all red, so you don't see any frame anywhere on the steering head or anywhere else. You can see it's got the 86 CR250R, produced in 9 of 1985, tag on the steering head. While we had the bike apart, the swing arm was polished, the motor was touched up. We touched up the black paint on the motor. The clutch and ignition cover were repainted black. The radiators were polished. All the aluminum on the bike was polished. If you look at the kicker, the kickstart lever, that was polished. The radiators aluminum was polished. See how nice and shiny that is. And I believe John put a brand new Kickstarter on it too, because this thing is perfect. They polished aluminum brake lever. They painted the original pegs black, and some of the black items on the bike were touched up. So the bike has new transmission fluid in it, brand new brand new radiator fluid, radiator coolant, brand new gear oil, new VP. I say new. I don't say new. It's gas. It's VP racing gas. Sorry, I'm a little tired. The heat's getting to me. I apologize. It's got VP. We run VP 110 with mixed 32 to 1, and it smells as good as it runs. It smells. I just love the smell of the race fuel. We put a brand new Pro Taper shifter on it. Put a new VMX front number plate and new side panels. Look at the shine on the VMX side panels. Nobody does it better than VMX. You pay a premium for it, but it's worth it. It's got new graphics package on the radiator shrouds with the HRC logos, new number plate covers, new USA logos and USA flags, and the HRC graphics package on there. So the tank shroud decals are the OEM style. It has a new ProLink decals on the swing arm after we polished it. It's got a brand new 520 gold chain. I think it's one of the calling cards of this bike. When you stand back and look at it, the red with the blue, red, white, and blue color thing with the gold chain and the gold sprocket just really pops. And that's not the original color of the chain. It was originally like black, but to me it just ties the whole thing together. New decal backgrounds. So of course went through the Wizard's hands, and he gave it a full tune-up, new air filter, changed all the fluids, nut and bolt inspection, put brand new tires on it, and she's ready to rumble. Like you see, the front tire still has the nubs on it. The rear one, the nubs got worn off ripping up and down the driveway. But as you can tell from the riding port of the demo, this thing's a ripper. It's beautiful. I think the bike kind of speaks for itself. Some of the things I didn't mention are in addition to the Renthal, brand new Renthal bars. Everything brand new from the bar clamps up is new. Brand new clutch perch with the blue anodized levers. Brand new Ori grips. New kill switch. New grip on this side. New master cylinder cover. New blue anodized brake lever. The brake system's been rebuilt. The brake's right on point. Works beautifully. New braided stainless line. Check that out. That's by Galfer. This is probably an $80 brake line. Just beautiful. Check out this is a reproduction of the stock one by Galfer, and they upgrade it with the braided stainless, but they go back to the factory plastic covering here to keep it from getting worn out. And just really well done. The whole brake system's rebuilt, tires are new, and the engine's rebuilt. Good luck finding a nicer one. Now, to put a monetary value on what was done to the bike, we added up the work order. We charged $90 an hour plus parts. Our version of the work order came to $2,580. John's, I don't know. He did it as a labor of love, 100 hours of labor plus thousands between the motor and everything else he did to it. So well over $6,000 has been invested into this bike, into the restoration between what John had done and we had done. And the bike speaks for itself. It's ready to roll up to the line at the Vintage National or roll it back into the New England Motorcycle Museum. Finding classics, Revolution classics this nice, 35 years old, it's getting harder to do, and this one's been gone through. So if you have any questions about it, give us a call. Ship it anywhere in the US, $500, all the way to the UK for $750. It's a cool piece, and they're only going up in value.
Want to know what your old bike's worth? Go on KaplanCycles.com. Guys, we're offering a new appraisal service, so lots of information to be had. If you have an old vintage two-stroke, want to get it professionally appraised, give us a ring. Go on KaplanCycles.com.
If you want it professionally restored, like John did to this one, when you drop it off, bring $5,000, and we do it on a time and material basis, parts and labor, $90 an hour plus parts. It's getting hard to find parts. Some of the parts you got to really scrounge for, so it's easier getting them done. And if you have all the sources to get it done, it goes a little quicker. But even for us, a bike like this, frame off like John did, would take us probably around 70 hours, 70 to 80 hours. And at $90 an hour, that adds up pretty quick, plus the parts. So I've always said it's easier and less expensive to buy one that's done. Buy this one, and then you can do whatever you want to it. If you want to change anything on it, all the heavy lifting's done. So good luck bidding on it. God bless America.